Hello YouTube, it's Alk here with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Underground coming at you with another segment, The Destroyer of Dreams, where I show you Archfiend decks and strategies that I am working with in the current year. Now, unfortunately, if you've been paying attention the last year since we've uploaded this segment, Archfiends have been demolished. We lost tour guides, we lost skill drains, and we lost any good matchups that we had in the format because a lot of this format likes to float indefinitely, which, unfortunately, we've not had Archfiends released which do any indefinite floating, so I'm kind of at a loss of what to do with the deck. I do have a more competitive version that I've been working on in secret, but it's not quite ready yet. So I figured that while I'm home and have real cards in front of me, that I would show you the version I'm theorioing with Archfiend discard, Archfiend Commander. A lot of you guys have been messaging me on Facebook. Completely okay to do. You can find a link to that in the description below if you want to know any of the Underground members' insights about things, and that's something that's happening. So, since a lot of you guys have been talking about Archfiends and Commanders, I figured I'd upload the deck list that I've been working with. And I totally got these 3 jump Archfiend Commanders for like 50 cents, so I couldn't waste this opportunity. So, 3 Archfiend Commanders. He's the heart and soul of this deck. I still think he's terrible, but he, gets some work done. He's a level 6, which actually opens up a lot of really fun plays. Since the deck is more dedicated to Commander, we cut down to 2 Lord of Horrors. He's not quite as potent as our win condition, but it is still good to have 2 of them around. Just play the second one so that you can get the second one off of your Pal Labyrinth. And good destruction, and of course, the special summoned ones come out at 3,000, so with the field spell you can crash into towers and don't have to worry about that deck, which is kind of nice. The heart and soul of the deck, for any of you who have watched any of this segment, Archfiend Eris is insensitively just good at, once per turn, searching, toolboxing the Archfiend card that you need, which pretty much drives this deck to be the consistent machine that it is. Then for the one-offs, we play 1 Archfiend Cavalry, 1 Trance Archfiend. Because Trance Archfiend can recuperate things from your banished pile, and having 2 of these on the field isn't really... having 2 of either one of them isn't really ideal, so we're just playing 1 of each because you can search everything so readily with Eris that you can just get the one you need when you need it. The 1 obligatory Tour Guide to the Underworld, not quite the powerhouse engine it was now that it's at 1, just very inconsistent, and it kind of lost some of the plays with Commander that it had, but still worth having in the deck. And 2 Battle Fader. You can stop OTKs, and of course he's a Fiend, which lets you go off with Pal Labyrinth, which is just very good for what you're trying to do. We cut down to 2 Mathematicians. Older builds were playing 3 Math, 3 Tour Guide from the Underworld, but as we'll discuss later, when we got Fiend's Griefing, we didn't really need them anymore. But very good, just sends your Eris to grave, gets you going, also floats, which is nice. And then 1 Max C, around the point where this got put in, I was just kind of running out of space in the deck. Double drawing, it's not good, because I want to have very constructive turn 1s, and you can only use 1 of these per turn. And you can side in the other ones, and since it is kind of Theorio, it's just kind of in here to see if we have more. Definitely format specific, though. We'll definitely get better when Norden comes out. For the spells, 1 Foolish Burial, just to send your Archfiend, another way to send Archfiend to grave, Eris to grave, and get yourself going. 1 Pod Duality, again, double drawing this, you can't play both of them, and then limits the plays that you can have turn 1. So we are just playing 1 Pod Duality just to get us there. 3 Supply Squads. Because we have Archfiend Commander, which blows up one of our own monsters, that means these Supply Squads will give you the draw on the first... will give you the first draw to replace themselves very early. And then every subsequent draw that you get is just a plus after they don't destroy it. And because we have Archfiend Commander, blowing up our own stuff is a lot more consistent, which makes Supply Squad very good to get yourself through the deck. 3 of the best card in the game. They thought they banned Snatch Steal and gave it to Toons, but what they forgot is that we still have it for Archfiends, which is wonderful, because that means we can steal games and destroy people's dreams, which is the point of this segment. And finally, to round out the spells, 2 Archfiend Pal Labyrinth. I still believe it to be infinitely better than what is it, Pandemonium's the other one, just because it will actually extends your plays instead of just recuperates like minute amount of advantage that you can already make back just by juggling your Archfiend Eris. Not playing any chicken race because life point management's definitely a thing that happens in this deck, and there's a lot of things that can do a lot of damage, so didn't really want to play around that route, but the potential's definitely there if you wanted to slim this deck down even further to play those, since this is so readily searchable to play over it. Next, for the trap cards, playing 3 Fiend Griefing. This card's actually really fantastic in this deck because it lets you disrupt your graveyard while getting another Eris search. What the most crucially important part of this card is that it lets us cut the 2 tour guides and the 1 mathematician with ease, and now we can actually send our Eris to grave more consistently without it dedicating our normal summon to it, which actually speeds the deck up considerably. Which, if everything else in the format wasn't so fast, would be quite helpful, and just gives this deck much more of a fighting chance than it would have had should this card not exist. So we kind of end up in the same place with Burning Abyss. 3, this card's actually very important. A lot of people don't know about this one. This card is called Snape Sister. What it is a trap monster that special summons itself as a level 2 Fiend Tuner, level Fiend Earth Tuner. And what this is important for is because you can get into level 8s with your commanders, you can get into level 5s and 6s with your other Archfiend monsters, but most importantly, it's a Fiend that you can special summon and then banish for your Pal Labyrinth to get the appropriate Archfiend. And what's particularly important about that is because we're only running 1 to 2 copies of the crucial cards that aren't Lord of Horror, banishing them can kind of be troublesome because you have to then jump through the hoop to get it back with Trans Archfiend if you need it later. Banishing a Snape Sister, you don't really lose anything because it's just a trap monster, so you don't actually lose any of the Archfiend cards that you're wanting to use for the cost for your Lord of Horror effect, or just want to keep in the game for your long-term resource plan. The synergy of just being able to make level 8s with Commander in this, or being able to banish it with Pal Labyrinth, makes it what I think Commander's perfect match in this deck. I would definitely recommend testing this out if you're playing Archfiend Commander and haven't been testing it out already. 1 skill drain. We only have 1, but the deck works really well under skill drain, so it's worth keeping in. For our revive traps, we play 3 Archfiend's Roar because we can just, bounce it with Eris, also extends our plays, gets us going. It's really one of the best cards in the deck. 3, Call the Haunted, just another way to get your Lord of Horrors back, get your Eris's back, just get anything back to extend your plays and keep going. And finally, rounding out the traps, we have 1 Crush Card Virus. This card became legal, and Eris is a target for it, so once you have done the searching, it's very good to just use this with Eris and blow out your opponent. And finally, the extra deck. This is honestly my favorite part of this deck because of all of the cards that Commander does give us extra access to, as opposed to my usual builds of Archfiends, which hardly touch the extra deck at all. There's actually a ton of utility coming out of this extra deck. So first, for the rank 3s, we cut them down to 2 because tour guides at 1, so it really doesn't happen. Just the Fortune Tune, the Zen Mains, these are the 2 which let you get your Eris effect off. This could actually be an Acid Golem, but Fortune Tune's very important because it can't be targeted. It pretty much guarantees your Eris search. The rank 4s, because if you get a level 4 and another Fiend with Pal Labyrinth on board, then you can banish the other one for the other level 4 and make these, which means they're kind of pretty high utility. Rhapsody and Berserk, he's good to attack your opponent's graveyard, and he's also a Fiend, which means that once you're done using him, you can banish him for Pal Labyrinth and get a useful Archfiend instead of him. 1 Castell, because it's just a good answer to thing. 1 Exciton Knight, also Fiend, can be made to 2400 attack with the field spell, which is funny, and of course board wipes are always just so good. And 1 Steel Swarm Roach, the field spell also pumps him up to 2400 attack, which actually makes him a lot scarier when you are fighting the appropriate matchups that Steel Swarm Roach can just lock out of the game. Now, because Commander's level 6, we do get access to some rank 6s, but extra deck space is a little bit tight, so these are my favorites. We get the 1 Gauntlet Launcher for mass destruction. 1 M7, he can add any of your monsters engraved back to your hand, as well as just serving as a compulse for your opponent's monsters, which is very useful. And one number 39, Utopia Beyond, which is an incredible rank 6. When he hits the field, your opponent's monsters' attack points become 0, and then he becomes 3,000, which means he can just get in there for massive damage. And finally, yes, the Synchros, because Snape's Sister is a level 2 tuner. We actually get access to quite a bit of synchros. So we're going to play 2 level 5s. The first is going to be Armadillo's Keeper of Boundaries, just a quick level 5, very good for getting over things like Fire Hand, Ice Hand, anything annoying like that. 1 Naturia Beast. What? Naturia Beast, you're asking? Yes, Snape's Sister is actually a Earth Fiend tuner, which means that Snape's Sister and Mathematician actually get you to Naturia Beast. So if you clear like the fields of like good decks and then make this and then lock them out of spells, you can actually cheat yourself a win that way, which is really funny. And really cool. 1 level 6, just the Go-Yo Guardian. There's a recurring theme. There's, just best way to destroy dreams is to take people's stuff. Falling Down facilitates that. This is just another card to facilitate it. Just Snape's Sister to level 4. It's really the only good option to go into for generic level 6, so that's why he's here. And then 3 level 8s, 1 Thought Ruler Archfiend. We're just playing these essentially because they're Archfiends, so you can banish other fiends when they're on the field to get Lord of Horrors out and put even more pressure on them. And also just has synergy with like your Archfiend's Wars and such. This is really good against like Burning Abyss and anything that like targets. My favorite card in the extra deck is the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. He's an Archfiend, so you can revive him and play with him with all the Archfiend support, but also just the ability to board wipe your opponent is like so cool. And then finally, we're playing 1 Angel of Zera. People keep citing like Macro and T-Fissure when I play this deck online, so I extra deck an Angel of Zera because you just, after they flip Macro, you just make Angel of Zera with your Snape's Sister and an Archfiend commander, and then it just never dies, and you just win the game, and that's really funny. So that's it. The side deck, there's just side generic things. It's not really anything, a definite art, but it has definitely been nice seeing you guys again. Nice shooting this segment. It's one of my favorites of the show. Like I said, you can message the Facebook group or comment down below if you need anything, and I will make videos as much as I can, as you know, when I'm at school. It's always a little bit harder. But I'm definitely working on some very cool projects that I can't wait to show you guys. And with that, I'm out.